Valley on this Monday morning, first Monday of November. It is November 4th. It's 6:30 in the morning, unless you forgot to turn your clock back over the weekend, and then it's 7:30, and you are going to be early for work. I believe you're going to be an hour early. So if you're watching this and your clock says 7:30, change it to 6:30, and you'll be right on time. So good morning once again. We are here in the studio at Cleveland State Community College. Alan Mincy, your host. Lou, there's your name, Lou. See? Lou is the co-host, and Lou, of course, stands for Live United. Lou's been our co-host for quite a while now and has yet to say anything on camera, so one of these days we're going to get him to speak. But sometimes he speaks more without words and with his Live United shirt. And you see he's got a sticker on that says, "I love Imagination Library," which is appropriate because we're going to be talking a little bit about the Imagination Library here in Bradley County during the show. A special event coming up this weekend coming up. And we are going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a special guest coming to Cleveland tomorrow, Tuesday. And we've got a couple of special guests to come in and talk about these special events coming up. And then we've got our friend Ashley Rayburn, and he's going to be talking about a special event, at least to those of us who are movie fans and comic book fans, and primarily fans of the Thunder God, Thor. The movie's coming out Friday, and Ashley's going to come in and talk a little bit about that. He and I guess we share a fondness for that comic, and we'll talk a little bit about that, a little bit about the movie, and who knows what we'll get into. But we've got Ashley here as well. Janice Waddell and Sarah Harratine from the United Way office are here with me today. So they will be coming up. So get ready for a good program. Get your coffee. Get your oatmeal, if you're someone like Janice from our office who loves oatmeal in the morning. And sit back, watch the show, and we will entertain and inform you with things going on in our community. Right now we're going to take some time for some messages, and we will be right back with our first guest, Janice Waddell, right after this. So stay tuned.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here. Doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now. Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning on this Monday morning, the 4th. I get my days mixed up.
Yeah.
It's the 4th of November, isn't it?
It is. That
Wow.
is crazy.
And you know what that means? This year is going by quickly. We've got
Crazy. It's so fast.
yeah.
Like,
What do we got? We got Thanksgiving coming up,
yep.
Christmas,
Christmas.
and the most important day.
Is Miss Tennessee tomorrow?
No, my birthday's
Oh,
this month also.
I
That's the
forgot.
most
I
important
forgot
day.
about Mr. Mincy and then Miss Tennessee.
Right,
Got
and we're
it.
going to talk
And then
about
Christmas.
Miss Tennessee.
Yeah, good to go.
Miss Tennessee coming,
We got
but
it.
before we do, Joe, you're still back there, aren't you? We have to shout out to Joe because this past Thursday night, his beloved Dolphins. I don't know if you can hear Joe, but he's
He's saying yes.
he's yes. His beloved Dolphins beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who some folks now are saying have a chance to go very far in the playoffs and possibly into the championship game, the Super Bowl. So one never knows, but if they do, they'll go in with a loss to the Miami Dolphins. So congratulations, Joe. I hope you savor this victory into your next game, and don't know who that is, but I hope it's not Denver or New England. Because
to do with this victory, Alan.
you did. Hey, there's Joe. When do you play the Patriots again?
I think it's more towards the end of the year, which is coming up in a few more weeks, but that's okay. We worry about one at a time.
There you go. Sure you do. Okay, but congratulations. Yeah, I like whoever's playing the Dolphins, but
Heard that.
Yeah, but congratulations to our friend Joe and the Miami Dolphins and all the Dolphins fans. There's a lot of them still here in this area, especially the ones who remember the undefeated Dolphins from many years ago and the great missed kick that Mr. Upremian had as. Okay, there we go. That's enough about football. We're here to talk to Janice Waddell, and Janice is from the United Way office. And Janice is going to talk about, well, she's already kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but she's going to talk a little bit about a special guest that's coming tomorrow. But first off, Janice, tell me your exact I work with you, and I'm not sure I know your exact title, but what's your exact title?
I forget it sometimes too.
I
Like
understand.
it's a struggle.
At the
It's a
United Way,
struggle.
what is your title?
It is the Director of Volunteer Services.
And what does that mean?
I'm not really sure.
Oh.
I'm still trying to figure it out too. But essentially, right now, what my two main tasks are working on the volunteer center, making sure that our organizations are being served well. Make sure they know what they're doing by promoting volunteer opportunities through the website. Essentially, I will briefly explain.
Please.
It's at volunteeracoe.org. Essentially, it's a place where community members and students can get connected to volunteer opportunities and community needs. There's a lot of different organizations on there right now. I know the Caring Place, the Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity, Family Promise. A lot of our local agencies are out there promoting their volunteer opportunities. And so managing that is one of my primary duties at the moment, as well as laying the groundwork for our new AmeriCorps Vista program. So we are actually bringing on 7, potentially 8 Vistas. Vista stands for Volunteer in Service to America, and that's a new program to our to our United Way,
Right.
and we will have 8 new AmeriCorps Vista members starting in February, and they will be going out to various different community agencies and building capacity within those agencies.
I started to say, when we say we're going to have 8 vistas at the United Way, it's not really United Way.
No,
they're going to be working with a lot of nonprofits in our community.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think last Friday we had a person come in and look at our nonprofit resource center that I believe could be a vista
Okay.
for one of our. I'm not sure if those decisions haven't been made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. She came in with some folks from the refuge.
Yeah. The refuge. That's who I thought you were talking about.
That's one of the organizations that could use a vista. There's a lot of organizations in our community that do quite well, very well.
Yes.
But a little added help would not be bad for them. So
Huge.
that's
That could be huge, yeah. And right now, I don't know. We actually we have made the final decisions about the various organizations who are getting them.
Okay.
So we could say it's the Refuge Family Promise, the Hope Child Advocacy Center,
Okay.
Tri-State Therapeutic Writing Center will be receiving them. NRI, which was recently changed to Impact Cleveland, the new neighborhood revitalization initiative that we have starting over in the Blythe Avenue community.
Right.
And CAN, the Community Action Network, will also be receiving a VISTA member. That's
That's
am I
6.
missing? I'm missing one.
You know, when
I
you start
always-
listing them, that's always
No,
bound
that's
to
always
happen.
going to happen.
But one thing is, we've got. Do you remember?
I'm trying to think.
Okay, we do have one person out of these 8 that will be the coordinator.
Yes, that will
this group.
actually be the VISTA leader. So
VISTA
they will
leader.
be helping to manage the process, the whole project,
Okay.
getting resources to the different VISTA members, and just making sure everybody's having a good experience with the entire project.
And that
so.
person will be working out of our office.
Yes,
Okay,
they will.
out of the
They
United
will,
Way
they will.
office. That sounds very exciting. I know
Signal
that.
Center.
Signal
That was
Center.
the other
There we
one.
go.
I knew it was going to come to me.
Okay, so we've
Sorry,
we've
we
got
have
it.
all of them. Good to
we've
go.
got- Yep, we've got them all listed there. So yeah, you were. if
I was
you-
struggling. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
I
were
got
gonna,
them. No,
you were going
we're
to
good.
call the station later today and say, Joe, can you
That's
talk
which
about this
one?
tomorrow, Tuesday, or can you put it on your show Wednesday?
Bring
It's
it
the
up.
Signal Center.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry, Signal Center. Monica Stone, I'm sorry. I remembered. I got it.
Oh, she'll be okay because she's going to love a Vista. I know that.
Oh, my
she's
gosh.
already mentioned that.
It'll be huge.
But that is great, and I know it's sort of been said that a Vista is like the Peace Corps. It's
Peace
the
Corps.
Americanized
The domestic. arm.
domestic.
Yep.
Okay.
It is. So they essentially will just go into communities and work at a very basic level within those organizations, building capacity, which means essentially better enabling that organization to serve the community members that it essentially serves and accomplish the mission of that organization.
Well, now the organizations get a lot out of having a Vista. What does a Vista get out of being a Vista?
Well, essentially, because inherent in their job title, they are a volunteer. They do get a living stipend as well as a housing stipend, and at the end of their service, they get an education award, well, the choice of an education award to go back to school or pay off loans, or a cash stipend. But from personal
There we go.
experience,
That's what I want.
that's what you were looking for. From personal experience, there's tons of professional development that happens during that year period. And I know from a personal perspective, that's one of my top priorities within the project, of ensuring that these members get a lot of training, a lot of skill building, and just a lot of really good down in the trenches experience when it comes to nonprofit management and processes and systems and all of that. So huge foot in the door experience, great resume building, and really gets to learn the ins and outs of organizations within our community, within the Bradley County community. So.
Then in a lot of cases, they take that and move on into nonprofit work.
Absolutely.
You said from personal experience, you were a Vista.
I was.
And
I was.
actually, you were a Vista with who?
With the United
with the
Way.
United Way. It's amazing how that worked out. And you did such a great job that we didn't want to let you go. So there was a position there for you, and you've done a great job
Well, I sure
at
appreciate
what you're
it.
doing.
It was
And
great.
you mentioned the Vistas, but one of the biggest things that you're involved in is this volunteer center. And that started, I guess, earlier, mid-year, or was it?
It was about mid-year, which we'd been working on. I know Emily McComb and some of our contacts here at Cleveland State, as well as at Lee University, there had been a lot of conversation around how can we better manage volunteers and get these students connected to opportunities within the community. But then the actual site, Volunteer Ocoee, went live on August 1st.
Okay.
So that was the official start date, I guess.
Okay, let's give you a scenario here. I am someone who wants to volunteer, and I go to the Volunteer Center website, volunteerocoee.org. What am I looking for? How do I find a position?
Yeah, you can look by a lot of different, or through a lot of different ways. If you know the organization that you want to serve with, Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity, if you know that organization, you can actually search by that. And there's a ton of other ways you can search by skill, by impact area, if you want to focus on homelessness or on children, after school programs, whatever environmental issues, whatever that may look like. You can search by those specific interests. Again, I already mentioned you can search by skill if you want to contribute accounting skills or business experience. Whatever that looks like. You can look by your schedule. There's a lot of different ways that you can search specifically for opportunities in our area.
So you can be an organization and go on there and look for someone that can fill a volunteer
You can.
spot.
You can do that from the opposite perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, you absolutely can. In which, essentially, at that point, that volunteer who has those specific skills, let me step back. In order to sign up for an opportunity, a community member or a student has to make a profile on Volunteer Ocoee. And then at that point, they can sign up or express interest in those volunteer opportunities, and they set those skills in there. They can set up their skills, and the organization can search by those skills if they want to. They can do that.
Okay, so it's
Connected on either side,
Right.
volunteer looking or an organization looking.
and that word there that you said, and it's part of the website, volunteer, and that leads us to our special guest that's coming
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
And who might that be?
That is actually Miss Tennessee, Shelby Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss Tennessee 2013. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, that's this year.
That is this year. Just make sure I had my.
Right.
Right.
And she, volunteerism is her platform, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, she actually has a couple different things that she's pushing. One big thing is Big Brother, Big Sister, that organization. She's a national spokesperson for it. And she's also heavily involved with the Children's Miracle Hospital Network.
Sure.
But one of her main platforms is volunteerism, and she's actually the honorary board chair of the Volunteer Tennessee Board of Directors.
Okay.
So that's the statewide committee organization that's focused on volunteerism across the state.
Okay.
So.
Well, I know that she's going to be with us early in the morning on our radio show that we do on the Buzz each Tuesday, Live United, at 7:15.
Yep.
But after that, she's going to be making a few stops. So
Yeah, she
where's she
is.
going?
She's actually going to Cleveland High School to start. She will, the radio at 7:15, and then at Cleveland High School at 8. She'll be speaking to a group of students, I think the freshmen, over there at Cleveland State, and then she's headed up to Walker Valley at 10:15 to speak to a group of student leaders up there, and then she's coming back to Bradley Central at around noon. And we're going to have lunch there with Chef Flowers. I think that's
sure.
what the plan is. And then at 12:30, she will speak to a group of Bradley students, student leaders, and a couple different classes over there about volunteerism and the importance of community service.
So this really isn't something open to the public. It's for these students to hear from Miss Tennessee. But one thing that we do need to mention is she's here. And you know, you're here from United Way. I'm here from United Way, and we're going to say, you know, United Way is involved in this, but we don't want to leave out the Kiwanis Club
Yes.
or the Key Clubs.
The Key Club president at Walker Valley and at Cleveland High School will be speaking as well and talking about Key Club and the importance of community service and volunteerism within those specific clubs. So that's really cool. And the Key Club is the high school aspect of the Kiwanis Club, the civic club here in our community.
Fantastic. And we've only got just a few seconds here to finish this up. But I understand there's going to be another speaker, and that'll be you.
It is.
And you're a little nervous.
A little bit.
nervous.
A little nervous about it, but I think it'll go well. And I'm excited to talk about the volunteer center. So.
Fantastic. Okay, that's coming up tomorrow at these 3 schools, and I know that they're going to put on a great welcome for her.
Absolutely.
And I know that she'll do a great presentation as well. So we're looking forward to that. Once again, before we have to take a break, anybody that wants to learn about volunteering in our community goes to our Volunteer Center website, and that is
volunteeracoe.org.
Okay, fantastic. Janice, thanks for coming in.
Of course.
It's you know, you get an extra hour of sleep anyway.
I know. Why not?
Yeah,
Why
so
not?
you
might as well be here.
Yeah, so and it's 6:30. It's not 4 o'clock. So we've been kidding about 4 o'clock things. But thanks for coming on, and we will see you Tuesday. I know.
All right.
I'll be with you too.
Absolutely.
So looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. We will be back after these messages with Sarah Haratine, who is going to talk about a thing coming up Saturday that is going to be a lot of fun too. So we'll be back right after these messages.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now, Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Hey, welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning, Monday morning. And my name is Alan Mincy, your host, and Lou hasn't moved. Lou is the co-host. Lou from the United Way offices, and another United Way friend. And I've got the name right twice, so I'm batting 1,000, which means I'm really going to screw it up now. So this is Sarah Harratine.
That's right.
I got it right. That's
Yep.
3 for 3. So I'm doing well. I always call her Sarah Harratine. Well, not always. Sometimes Sarah Harratine.
Sometimes, yes.
Because Sarah Hara, it's like Sahara.
Yep, that's
Teen
right.
time.
It rhymes.
It does. But Sarah is working in our office, and I'll ask you the same question I asked Janice. What exactly is your title at the United Way?
Yeah, my title at the United Way is AmeriCorps Vista. And again, that's Volunteers in Service to America.
You know, we laugh about that because our boss, Matt Ryerson, always has trouble trying to say what VISTA stands for. We give him a hard time about that because it's very simple. But we give him a hard time. But so you are a VISTA yourself, much like what Janice was talking about.
Yeah.
The 8 VISTAs that we will have coming in.
That's right, that's right.
Okay, so how did you become a VISTA with us?
Well, there was an application process and then also an interview process. It was probably a week or two turnaround, and it was back in May that I started this.
Okay. And why did you want to be a VISTA with United Way?
Well, I was looking for some nonprofit experience because I really want to work in the nonprofit field. And so when I saw this job opening, I was really interested in that. But 2, some of my schooling was in early childhood education within the psychology field. And so the Imagination Library program that I've been working with has to do a lot with that area.
Okay. And that leads us into what we're going to be talking about here in a few minutes. But you mentioned the Imagination Library.
Yeah.
And okay, let's assume that someone watching this morning is going, what is the Imagination Library in 250 words or less?
Okay.
Explain to the viewers what the Imagination Library is.
Okay. Well, it's a free book program for kids aged birth to 5 here in Bradley County. Now, it's founded by Dolly Parton, and so it started out in her county of Sevier, Tennessee, and it spread to all the other counties here in Tennessee and actually all over the U.S. as well. And so if a child wants to receive a book, each month delivered to his or her home to get them ready for school, all they have to do is call over to United Way or visit the Imagination Library website to sign their kids up.
Okay, what are some of the books that they receive?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of good books because it's reviewed by a board to make sure that the books are age appropriate and also have the right concepts for kids to be learning at that age of their development. So a few examples are The Little Engine That Could. There's a book that the kids end with called Kindergarten, Here I Come, and it talks about getting ready for entering the classroom. And then one of my favorites is Llama Llama Red Pajama. That's one of the ones that they get.
I think that's our boss's favorite too, Llama Llama.
Yep.
These books are selected by a panel to have appropriate books for these kids. And my understanding, I was there, I guess, at the United Way when we first joined the program back in 2005, I believe.
That's right.
And the thing that impressed me the most about it was not just that there were free books for these kids, but it also helped create a bonding between the parents or grandparents or guardians and the kids because of the reading that has to take place. I guess if you're 1 year old, you can't read, so somebody has to read to you. But the thing about the books being mailed to the kids, it's not to the parents, right?
Right. It's each book is addressed to the child, And there's been quite a few different stories that we've heard from our partners and also parents that are in the program saying this means so much for the kids to receive their own books in their own name, because think about it, not many kids get mail between the ages of 0 to 5. And so this is a really cool experience to run out to the mailbox and get their own book in the mail.
And a sense of ownership for them. And believe me, we're old enough now to know if we get something in the mail, 60-70% of the time it's a bill.
That's right.
So enjoy getting mail that you really want now before
That's right.
before you start getting the utility bill and the house payment. Oh, I could go on, car payment, Sears card, gas card, and all these things.
Yep.
So that's good. Some of these parents, some of these kids, I understand that, and it's unfortunate. You don't think this happens in the world today, but they don't have any books.
Yeah, there was a story that we heard from one of our partners about a year ago that talked about this parent that called her and was talking about how much she liked the program. And she said, we didn't have any books in the home before we started receiving the Imagination Library books. And the partner asked her, well, did you have any books at all? And she said, well, we had a phone book, and that's all that they had. And so without this program, the kids wouldn't have had a good way to get ready for school and be successful. And one of the most important things why we promote this program is because third grade reading scores are used to predict so much. There's even some states that talk about how they use these third grade reading scores to predict how many jail cells to build. And so our goal is to get kids ready for school early on before they even go into the school system, or if they're homeschooled or whatever, so that they have the good education skills early on.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And as we said, it's very simple to register. I know that you have actually even gone out to special events going on in our community with a display and with printed forms that they can fill out, or even forms that they can put their name and address and everything, and we'll enter it into the database.
Yeah.
So about how many people do we have on the program now, do you know?
That's a good question. We have almost 3,000 children. It's
Great.
right underneath. I think it's 2,972 right now.
Any idea how many have gone through the program?
Yeah, we've had it's a little over 4,500 kids graduate from the program.
That's great, but I'm thinking to myself, surely we have more than that number of kids in our community.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right now, we're about at 50% of kids who are under the age of 5 here in Bradley County. So that means that there's 50% more that could be in this program. Either the word just hasn't reached them yet, or maybe some parents don't feel like they necessarily need the program because they can afford books, which, again, we would encourage them to have the program just because it is a really neat experience for their kids to have.
And I think that's where that sense of ownership of getting a book to yourself,
Yeah.
whether you as a parent can afford the book or not, the kid is going to get a lot out of getting the book mailed to him or her. So that's great.
Yeah.
Started in 2005, and we are coming up on kind of a not really a birthday celebration because it started in March, but we've got a special event coming up this Saturday. So I'm going to give you a chance to let the folks know what do we got going on Saturday.
Yeah, well, we're having our first graduation party for the Imagination Library program.
Okay.
And so what we've done is we've invited all the graduates from this program. Specifically, we've only emailed the ones from this year. It'd be too hard to go back and email all of them. But we've invited all these people out, and we're going to be celebrating through having a story time. We're having the Read Mobile from Chattanooga come up and have stories and activities for the kids. There's going to be some free food. There's going to be a free book for each kid. And then also there's going to be the Care Mobile. And most of you have probably heard about this. It's a nurse practitioner that goes around in this truck or this vehicle to treat sick children, and it specifically goes to schools here in Bradley County, and they've been gracious enough to give us their services for this event.
Okay, where's the event going to be?
It's going to be at the Blythe Family Support Center, which is at the old Blythe Bower School.
Okay, and what time does it start?
That's a good question. It's going to be from 9 in the morning to 11
I
in the
only
morning.
ask good questions. I only ask good... No, I'm just kidding. But
Only
it's
good.
going to start at 9, you say?
From 9 to 11 this upcoming Saturday.
Okay. And this is for the graduates, as you say, for this year and any year. But it's also an opportunity for anybody that wants to learn more about the program to come by, too.
That's right. It's completely free. We're trying to reach the whole community of Bradley County, but then also specifically the Blythe area. I've invited the Blythe Elementary School or the Blythe Bower Elementary School students. And so we're hoping to reach not only Imagination Library participants, but also the surrounding community with this event.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
You, this is one of the primary things that you've been doing since you've joined us there at the United Way. Other things that you're involved in that you want to mention? I know you do a lot more than just the Imagination. That's your main focus.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that every time I see you, you're trying to help everybody with some things as well. I know you work with Janice.
I've been working with Janice. I worked with Emily some when she was here. Recently we put together a Christmas and Thanksgiving resource guide for the community, just for other nonprofits in the area to know what's going on when people call in and ask for assistance during that time. We've been putting together this, it's called a learning trail, and we're putting it at the Greenway. People for Care and Learning is actually putting this trail over, or this a bathroom area over there, which is going to be awesome because you have parents with kids that got to go to the bathroom when they're playing, and there's nowhere to go except the bushes.
Yeah.
And so
or Mouse Creek, and
Or Mouse
we
Creek.
wouldn't go there. But
And
that's great.
so,
So we're
yeah.
going to have a little learning trail.
A learning trail, yeah.
Fantastic.
It'll teach parents how to be intentional about everyday moments with their kids, just getting them ready for school. A lot of what the Imagination Library is doing, just in a different way.
That sounds great. And I knew that was coming up, and I had forgotten all about it, or that would have been another one of my great questions that I asked. But I'm glad that you remembered that.
Yeah.
You having fun with us down at the United Way?
I have, except for this one person, Alan Mincy.
Oh yeah, he's a tough guy. Tough guy. He's a jokester.
It's been a very good experience. The people there are amazing, and the experience that we have just working with our community partners has been really good.
Okay, that sounds great. Once again, Saturday, 9 o'clock to 11
Yes.
at the Family Support
The old
Center,
Blythe School.
the old Blythe Elementary School, and all graduates of the program, please come.
Yes, as well as any community members. It's completely free.
Okay, and as you said, the bookmobile will be there, the Caramobile will be there.
Yep.
Batmobile will be there.
Maybe,
no, it's
yeah.
not going to be there. But it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. But these families, these kids are going to get a chance to learn about the Imagination Library too. So fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank
This
you.
Saturday, you'll be there too.
I'll be there.
Okay, can we get Janice to come?
I think so. I think she's put it on her calendar.
Okay. Well, sometimes you have to remind her a couple of times about that. But, well, that sounds great. It sounds like a great program coming up. And we forgot to put the H at the end of your name there, didn't we?
Oh, I see that.
I
Yep.
just noticed it myself. But
That's all right.
That's okay. As long as I get the last name right,
That's right.
we're in good shape. Sarah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Alan.
It's early in the morning, but
It is.
you've made some early trips for us in the past, so thanks for coming on. And we will take a break, and then we're going to talk Norse god of thunder, Thor. I don't even know what else to call him, Lord of Lightning and all sorts of things. Be a little bit different from Imagination Library and the Volunteer Center. So we'll be back with Ashley Rayburn to talk about Thor right after these messages.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning on this Monday morning, and it is November the 4th, and I have with me Ashley Rayburn. Let's see what they say for you, because I didn't know. A Thor expert. There you go.
Expert might be a bit much.
Well, I think you are, and they've got Thor in all caps, so that means that they're Thor fans.
Well, it depends on which Thor. You have to make sure you say Marvel's Thor.
I see. Otherwise,
You just don't know.
It's just plain old Thor. and I have someone who's brought notes. I'm not used to.
Well, I brought notes because I don't want to look stupid.
I see. Well, that's okay. I take that. I can handle that. You don't have to worry about that. I take all the stupidness and draw it into myself. But I asked Ashley to come on, and you're probably out there going, Why is he talking about Thor? We've got a thing coming up Friday that is a brand new movie.
Yeah, the sequel.
Yes, and it's I think the first Thor movie was just called The Mighty Thor, or just Thor.
Yeah.
And this has got sort of a subtitle to it. What is it we got?
The Dark World.
Okay.
And it's of course they've taken it in a different direction. Where we have Malekith, who is the villain in this. He's a dark elf.
Right. So
instead of it just being Thor versus Loki, it's going to be kind of like a buddy movie where Thor has to team up with Loki.
I start to say that's what I've seen the previews.
And this is all based on trailers.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm making assumptions. I haven't seen it or anything.
Well, the thing is, even if he teams up with Loki, there's going to be a time there that Loki's going to stick it to him. We know that. That's Thor legend from the beginning of time to even when Loki became a woman.
that did happen.
It did. And Thor became a frog.
Yes.
There's many stories that we
and other people took the hammer, like Beta Ray Bill
and Captain America.
Yes. There's other people who are worthy.
Right. Well, that's what it says. And for those, and I know there's still people out there going, what are they talking about? The Legend of Thor, and we'll go into the Marvel Thor.
Right.
Started, I guess, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby back in Journey into Mystery.
Yeah, 1963. So, which is interesting because we're coming up on that. Well, we're right at that 50-year mark.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that of this year. I think it was actually earlier in the year, but Journey into Mystery '83 is the the first appearance of Thor. So that kind of is where that all came. He was the second like superhero in the redefined Marvel when they decided to have a kind of a underlying universe. I think it was Fantastic Four first,
Right.
which came out in I think 61 actually is when Fantastic Four, and then in 63 you have the Hulk and the Thor come out in almost the same month, and I'm honestly not sure which came out first, but they kind of dealt with the Fantastic Four for quite a while before they delved into more. It was a new paradigm for comic books because if you get into the history of comics in the 1950s, there were giant comic book burnings and stuff like that, and people who were saying that superheroes in comic books went to destroyed our youth and made that. So then all the comic book companies were going out of business, and they needed something. And while superheroes had been very good in the 40s,
Right.
they didn't think they were relevant, but they were like, let's try it one more time, and they did. And
I think that's when probably Flash.
well, Flash was like the first revitalized, and that was DC,
Right.
of course. And then they did the Justice League, and they said, well, Marvel said, there's lots of stories as to how it happened. Some stories say that Stan Lee was crying in a corner because he didn't have a job anymore, and Jack Kirby said, I'm going to fix this for you, and he created it. And there are other people that say Stan Lee created it, and it's the big, I love that side of comic books, that back and forth of the real world part of it.
The history of comics, I've read books on it, and it is fascinating. And there are times now that I think of Stan Lee more of a, he almost comes off as a character himself now.
Yeah, I think he does.
But the man is brilliant.
He
for what
is.
He did.
I mean, for what he did, I agree with you. I say all that to say I feel like he got a lot of credit for things he didn't deserve.
Okay.
But you're right. He completely did a fantastic job, and if it wasn't for him, we would not have the Marvel universe that we have now.
So who's responsible for Thor?
Well, it is
combination?
Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Okay.
With the idea that Stan Lee wrote it and Jack Kirby drew it. That said, I think it's important to note that the way Stan Lee worked, and this is very well documented by his own admission, was something called plot first, where he said, I have this idea for I want Thor to fight a monster, and I want him to come out of the ground. And he ended that sentence with Excelsior.
Yeah.
And then Jack Kirby would actually take that very loose plot and then create the story. And then Stan Lee would come back in and write the words.
Okay.
So while Stan Lee did create the stories, he very loosely created them. And Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko for Spider-Man or any other, Don Heck, whoever was drawing at the time would go and create
Don
it.
Heck did a lot of Avengers.
He did a lot of Avengers. He also inked a lot of Jack Kirby's work as well.
Okay. The Legend of Thor is not something that is new. This comes from Norse mythology.
Right, and all those characters, Odin, Loki, a lot of them.
Right, although some of them are not part of Norse
Sure.
legend, like the Warriors 3.
Right, the Warriors 3, I don't think Sif is.
I don't.
I might be wrong on that. But there's...
But
you have things like the Bifrost.
Sure.
And things like that, which is kind of a mix of both, which is the Rainbow Bridge, how you get to Asgard,
Right.
Where Thor is from, in both worlds, in both the fictional and the mythological.
Right, and well, it's not really in the movie itself, but the Midgard serpent,
Sure.
who is the link.
Right.
It's hard to keep all these things straight.
It is.
But the movie seemed the first movie did, it was very true to a lot of Thor in the sense of him having his ego, sent him to Earth, though he didn't come to Earth as a mortal. Well, or did he?
Well, not so much. He did get hit by a car when he first got there,
True.
and he survived it.
True.
So,
but he did not come to Earth as the Dr. Donald Blake from the...
right, although there was reference to that in the movie. The great thing about that movie is that they took so much the Asgard stuff and all the costumes and stuff is right out of Jack Kirby art, which is really, really good because a lot of times he gets the short end of the stick on that. But man, they took it and it was like reading an old Jack Kirby comic at sometimes. This movie will probably look more like the Walter Simonson era, which is like the mid-'80s.
Right.
Era when they did that. The character Malekith, who is the villain in this one, is a Walter Simonson creation.
Right.
So you will probably get more. It'll probably be more geared towards that. Although Walter Simonson's art is still very reminiscent of Jack Kirby's. He was very heavily influenced, as were so many artists.
It seems to me, looking at the trailer, that Thor actually, and tell me if I'm wrong, might be battling the Stone Men from Saturn.
There is a
and
scene where
those are the
someone
first people that he actually
did in Journey into Mystery '83.
Right.
It is that cover. I meant to get pictures so we could put them up and stuff, but that cover to me is one. It's hanging in my office at home. A giant
swinging.
He's swinging the sword and everything. So it'll be
the hammer, yes,
sword, where I got that from.
Right.
But yes, there are some stone-esque creatures in there.
Okay.
I don't know if they are.
We will see. They seem to. All of these superhero movies seem to pull something out that fanboys, as they call
Right.
them, go ooh
Well,
when
it's
they do it.
interesting to note that while this is the Thor movie, they've now done this Marvel universe, the movie, the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
So you've got Iron Man, Captain America, which the next Captain America movie is coming out next July, I think, or no, next May.
Right.
And then you'll have Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you'll have the next Avengers movie after that. So all of these tie into that. So they are, while they're all separate stories, they are all one story also.
You excited about the movie?
I am excited about the movie.
Okay.
It's really fun. When the last movie came out, which was 2011, my interest in Thor stems from my dad. My dad had, when I was growing up, we collected comics and stuff, and I could, at the time, that time in my life, I could really care less about Thor for whatever reason. But he gave me those a few years ago, just said, you know what, I don't really want to do anything with them. If you want them, you can have them. So they kind of sat there. And then last year, or when that movie, in 2011, when that movie came out, we all went together, and it just kind of was like, man, that's a lot of fun. And I went to a convention called Heroes, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was like, you know what, I've got this Thor collection, maybe I'll fill a couple holes. I came back filling 80 holes.
Right.
And since then, I have, I think when I started, I needed about almost 300 issues probably to like do a collection. I need 60 now.
There you
So
go.
I've gotten a little crazy with it, but it's fun to do.
What's the oldest that you have in the series? I know you've got some Journey into Mystery.
I
comics.
just got a few months, or about a few weeks ago, I think I got issue 92, which is Journey into Mystery 92. Journey into Mystery went until 124, and then at 125 it turned into Thor.
Okay.
So,
And you've collected them up to what number of Thor?
501 is the last issue of Thor proper. And then it reverts back to Journey into Mystery for about 21 issues.
Okay. That's.
I have a bunch of useless knowledge.
Well, and I have told Ashley that I will be going through my books at home. I'm just a few years older than he is, so I probably have less desire to hold on to my books. So who knows? I may be able to fill 60.
Maybe
some of those 60 holes. I don't know.
Well, it's fun because you have milestones in collecting, and with comics, it's really easy because they're kind of milestones that are built in for you. You've got issue numbers.
Right.
So in issue numbers, it's easy to count in tens. So the other day, I got the last issue of the 190s. So I'm down to the 190s, and I'm just finished. I actually also finished the 180s.
Okay.
So I've finished all the 200s, all the 300s. I've actually got a few 400s, which is really weird, but because they're towards the end of the line, the art got horrible, and I cannot bear to spend money on those books. But that's where I'm at. I will. Because I want to say I completed it. Oh, I might complete this and then the next day sell it. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I want to say I've done.
I will say that Ashley is possibly a collector in my vein. It's, yes, you collect them, but you don't just collect them to be collecting them. You collect them and read them.
Sure, yeah. Well, another thing I do is if you're interested in Thor or any comic book from any comic company, Marvel or DC or even Image, the greatest way to do that, especially books that you don't see easily obtainable, is to get the trade paperbacks or the omnibuses, which are often hardbacks. They're doing some great versions of Thor, particularly. There's something called Marvel Masterworks, which they print them in color. They do about 12 or 13 issues. You can get them on Amazon for about $14, which is pretty good for what they are. So it's a good way to read those early ones that you're not going to probably get a hold of, but still be able to experience the stories.
Tell you what, Ashley, we've got just a couple of minutes,
Okay.
and we've got the movie coming up.
Yep.
And we don't know exactly all the things that are going to be in the movie.
Right.
But say there was a Thor 3.
Yeah.
If they get to Thor 4, I'm really going to have trouble saying that, Thor 4. But what would be a plot that you would like to see in the movie?
I'd like to see Beta Ray Bill,
Okay.
which is kind of this horse-looking guy that gets a hammer like Thor, and he goes, he's worthy of the hammer, and
Right.
Odin grants him his own hammer, and he goes off and saves his people. I think it's a great story. Also, Walter Simonson.
Yeah.
So I really like that character a lot. I think he looks cool, and I think he would look really cool in movies as well.
Okay. Out of time, you like the casting of Thor?
I like the casting of Thor. I like the casting of, I want to say this about Malekith. The villain is played by Christopher Eccleston, who played the Ninth Doctor in Doctor Who, and I'm also a huge Doctor Who fan.
Yes, and that would take a whole hour for him to talk about Doctor Who, so we'll avoid that. But thanks for coming on. I'm like you. I'm going to be there Friday.
Yep.
To see the movie. I love the first one. I'm going to love this one. I'm going to love the Avengers when it comes out.
I can't wait.
Can't
Next
wait
Captain America movie looks awesome.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is going to be in it. So if you get a chance Friday, go see Thor. Once again, Thor, what's it called?
The Dark World.
The Dark World. And speaking of Dark World, we're going to go dark. And we're done with our show today. But we will be back in a couple of Mondays with more special guests. So have a great November. Have a great day, great week. And we'll see you in a bit. Okay? Bye-bye.